John Shackleton is a man on a mission, or at least he wants to be. The 77-year-old from Harrogate has been giving aid to Eastern Europe via a series of trips for over 20 years. He buys ambulances and delivers them along with crucial items such as blankets and medical equipment to some of the poorest and most dangerous parts of Europe and beyond. This year he's planning to go to the east of Ukraine, where he knows people are in desperate need of supplies. But there's a big problem. He's supposed to be leaving this Saturday, but he doesn't have a driver, and without one, he'll have to cancel his trip.
We have to have three drivers altogether. So I'm desperately in need of another driver. We had planned to leave England on Saturday morning. The journey will take, I should think, a week to 10 days. It's very short notice, I really do appreciate it.
John has delivered aid on 44 different occasions to war-torn places such as Kosovo, Bosnia and Georgia. Sometimes it's come at a price.
The Turks put us in a prison once, not for long, 32 hours. They thought I was selling the ambulances and they wanted a proportion of what we were making. And of course there wasn't anything. And so they said, well, we'll put you under there until you tell us how much you're making. And the annoying part was that I'd already given 2 ambulances to the Turkish government, Ishmish, when there was an earthquake. So I said, look, you just check your bounders. And they did, they checked, but it took them that long. The phones aren't the best. We were underground, I think it was 20, 30 watt bulb, a bucket in the corner to go to the toilet, and it wasn't emptied. My 2 co-drivers were really panicking. I knew that it wouldn't be long before we were out. I've been to so many countries that I really cannot remember. I should think 15, 18 countries, most of the European countries. Wherever there's been trouble, if possible, I've taken an ambulance. As I say, 15, 20 countries. If I hear there's an earthquake or there's a war, we try to get into Syria. We had a team, everything ready to go to Syria. And then the Turks got involved with the war and the whole Turkish-Syrian border became a war zone, which meant we were not allowed in at all. So that's why I diverted to the Ukraine.
John raises the money he needs by selling firewood logs and getting donations. But beyond his selfless charity work, he's also led an interesting life. The dad and grandfather of 10 even had an encounter with the king in Germany whilst working in the army bomb disposal unit.
When we were clearing bombing ranges in Germany, I'd had an accident on a motorbike and I was in a hospital called Wegberg, which is outside Mönchengladbach. While I was in hospital, Elvis Presley came round and he sat on the end of the bed and he strummed his guitar a little bit. Now I'm going back 55 years, 60 years, and you know, he was very famous at the time, and I spoke to him. I never even thought of getting his autograph. And as time went by, I've done many things, and part of my life I used to make historical and Shakespearean wall plaques out of Cornish stone. And I was approached by a chap called Todd Slaughter, something like that. And he wanted me to do one of Elvis Presley. And I thought, well, fine, because I am an Elvis Presley fan. And so I did a plaque of Elvis Presley, and we were not allowed to sell them in England. We could only sell them in America. And when Elvis Presley found out about it, he invited myself and my wife and 5 kids over to America. But I mean, you know, I was a young man. I was struggling to put food on the table, never mind cross the Atlantic. So I had to decline, which is a shame in a way.
But with such an interesting life and having helped so many people already, you'd be forgiven for thinking he's ready to pack it all in. But not John.
I suppose in a way it's a bit selfish really, because believe me, Mark, when you eventually get to your destination and you hand out all the aid that we have, and we carry toys for children, you know, we take the toys into the orphanages and hand them out, and then I've seen surgeons crying with joy when we've handed the equipment over. Now I know it's only a very, very small thing, but you know, the feeling you get from seeing what we would throw away, I mean, they're so grateful for. And I think basically that's what motivates me, being able to do something for these very, very poor people.
Time is running out, and John desperately needs a driver before the weekend, or else he won't be able to deliver aid to people who really need it. Those genuinely interested in helping him are urged to get in touch or go to his website for more details before it's too late. For On The Aire, I'm Mark Kielesz-Levine.